Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I'm Muhammad Irfan Bazli, which is my team member, which is Muhammad Hakim Aini, Izzat Akmal bin Abdul Rahman, Ajiraza bin Abdullah, Amafi bin Hamdan, and Warafi Raimi bin Muhammad Sukri. We present about Takaful industry in Malaysia. So before that, we would like to thank our lecturer, Mr. Badrul Hisham bin Ahmad Fadullah, for his guidance for us to finish this this subject. Next slide, please. Okay, so I will start this presentation with the introduction of Takaful industry. Okay, so what is Takaful? Takaful is a Sharia compliance insurance. These are different from our conventional insurance, and this Takaful are derived from an Arabic word which means joint guarantee. So the underlying concept in Takaful are Tabaruk and Mudarabah. Tabaruk means donation or gift or contribution, which participant in a Takaful scheme agrees to relinquish as a donation of a certain. Or Mudarabah is use the concept where Takaful operator is the administrator of the fund and manage the fund in trust on behalf of the participant. Next slide. Okay. Now we explain the background. As you can see in the slide, these are insurance companies and Takaful operators that have a license in Malaysia. There are a few companies that we well known, such as AIA or Etika. Next, I will explain about the history and development of Takaful industry in Malaysia. Okay, so when is Takaful started? The Takaful Act was adopted in 1984 as a result of the task force recommendations, and the first Takaful operator was incorporated in Malaysia in November 1984. So what are the fatwa on insurance? The decree issued by the Malaysian National Fatwa Committee, which ruled that life insurance in its current form is a void contract due to the existence of the elements of gharar, which is uncertainty, riba, usury, and maisir was a major catalyst, which is gambling. So how does Takaful come into existence? The Takaful industry arose in Malaysia in the early 1980s in response to the Muslim public need for a Sharia compliant alternative to traditional insurance, as well as to supplement in the operation of the Islamic banks, which has been founded in 1983. Next slide, please. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so more about the history and development of Takaful. What has Takaful become? The Malaysia Takaful industry has developed into a critical primary hub in the Malaysian economy, supporting Malaysian status as a global Islamic financial center. So the purpose of Takaful are establishing an on-Islamic insurance scheme in Malaysia was to adhere to Islamic law and rules while also avoiding the three prohibited components, which is riba, maisir, and gharar. The main goal was to create and innovate an Islamic alternative to which Muslims. So the future of Takaful to developing economy of Asian countries are expected to expand at a rate of 8%, which is more than triple of the 2.8% growth of developed countries. Next. So the studies on Takaful, many reports such as Jones 2009 advocate for further research into measuring the success of Takaful companies using financial ratios such that they can be comparable to conventional insurance. The background of Takaful industry. The first period from 1982 to 1992 saw the establishment of the Takaful industries infrastructure in Malaysia. The regional cooperation between Takaful operator was strengthened in the second phase, which is 1993 to 2000. The third and final stage of the Financial Sector Master Plan FSMP 2001 until current aims to strengthen the legal, Sharia and regulatory framework as well as to develop the capacity of Takaful operators. Next slide, please. Now I will pass the next presentation to Mr. Izzat.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Now I am going to talk about the development of Takaful industry in Malaysia. There are 4 phases in total when Takaful industry started to being background into Malaysia. Now we are going to look at phase 1. Does anyone can see this slide?
Yes.
Now let's talk about phase 1 from 1984 to 1922. In this phase 1, it started with the enactment of a dedicated regulatory law, in enactment of the Takaful Act 1984 and the establishment of the first Takaful operator in 1984 itself. The primary focus during this period was the establishment of the basic infrastructure for the industry. They are not focusing to flourish the Takaful industry, but they only want to set up the base of Takaful in Malaysia during this phase. Let's take a look at phase 2, which is from 1993 to 2000. In phase 2, the introduction of competition with the entry of another Takaful operator has been begun during this phase 2. This period also saw greater cooperation amongst Takaful operators in the region, including the formation of the ASEAN Takaful Group in 1995 and the establishment of ASEAN Takaful International Limited in 1997. In this phase also, their focus are to promote the Takaful itself, and they give way to competitors between Takaful to make the Takaful more flourishing during this phase. Now, let's take a look at phase 3. Phase 3 between 2001 to 2010, which is 10 years. In phase 3, the introduction of the Financial Sector Master Plan FSMP in 2001, which among other objectives is to enhance the capacity of the Takaful operator and strengthen the legal, Sharia and regulatory framework. This is the phase when we want the Takaful to become more flourishing, which means we are going to strengthen the legal procedure for the Takaful itself, the regulatory framework that are introduced later into Takaful. Now, let's talk about phase 4, which is from 2011 to 2020. In phase 4, the Financial Sector Master Plan is a strategic plans to drive Takaful towards a high value added. And in phase 4 also, there are implementation of risk-based capital to Takaful as an introduction to more strengthened capital requirement. Now, let's take a look at the key milestone of Takaful industry. There are a lot of achievement that have been gained from Takaful from 1984 itself to 2014 to 2020. There are a lot of achievement that have been the case was attended by Yang Amat Datuk Seri Ahmad Muhammad Zalah and the Minister of Finance. Now let's take a look at the latest achievement of Takaful Malaysia, which is in 2020. The Takaful Malaysia was awarded the highest return of shareholders over 3 years and the highest return on equity over 3 years award at the annual award ceremony of the H Billion Ringgit Club 2020 organized by the H Media Group. Now I am going to give it to the next presenter.
Hello? Okay. Okay, now I will go further about governance of Takaful in Malaysia. Next. Okay, the Sharia system at Bank Negara Malaysia has been continuously improved to comply with the Takaful industry development. This is necessary to sustain Sharia interpretation consistency as part of work to change the Islamic finance industry regulatory framework. The strong Sharia structure enhance customer trust and allow Takaful operator to be more creative while staying within Sharia bounds. The structure of the existing two-tier Sharia framework is as follows. Next slide, please. Okay, the first one is the National Sharia Advisory Council in Bank Negara Malaysia, now known as Sharia Advisory Council or SAC, and it was established in May 1997. The objective is to determining the Sharia ruling on Islamic banking, finance, and takaful transactions conducted by financial institutions under the purview of the bank. In 2003, the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 1958 and the Takaful Act 1984 were amended to strengthen the SIC's position as the authoritative body on Sharia matter relating to Islamic banking and finance. The SIC's status has been elevated as a point of reference for court and arbitrators in any dispute concerning Sharia issue in Islamic banking and finance cases. Next slide, please. Okay, the second one is Sharia Committee. To ensure Sharia compliance, a Takaful operator is required by law to create a Sharia committee as part of its internal governance. Improve the Sharia governance of Islamic financial institutions. Bank Negara Malaysia has released the guideline on the governance of Sharia committee for Islamic financial institutions. The guideline will create to improve Sharia decision uniformity by combining the role and responsibility of Sharia committee in the industry with that of the SSC. The guideline also provide a competency standard for each member of the Sharia committee in order to increase the number of Sharia employees who are knowledgeable about Islamic banking and takaful. And that is all for me. Thank you.
Okay, next we move to the differences between Takaful Act 1984 and IFSA 2013. Next slide, please. Okay, first, we look at the Takaful Act 1984. Takaful Act 1984 was gazetted for publication on 31st December 1984. The Act came into force on 1st January 1985 to provide regulations on Takaful business in Malaysia and for other purposes relating to the Takaful sector. This act also has 68 sections and divided into four parts, which is part one is preliminary. Part two is conduct of a takaful business. Part three is written investigations, winding up, and transfer of business. And the last part, which is part four, which is miscellaneous and general. Next slide, please. Next is about the IFSA 2013. The new Malaysian IFSA was came into force on 31st June 2013 after approved by the Parliament. IFSA repeals the Islamic Banking Act 1983 and Takaful Act 1984, whereby it combines between the Islamic financial and takaful services under those Act in a similar style. It is also provide for the regulations of Islamic financial institution, payment system, market. Other than that, it provide for the oversight of the Islamic money market and Islamic foreign exchange market, to promote financial stability and compliance with Sharia. By this way, the new act aims to strengthen consumer protection and further increase the confidence of the public in Takaful. Next, I will give to the next presenter.
Okay, so next we move to the salient features. So this is the several selling features for IFSA 2013. So the first one is focus on Sharia compliance, which is the activities according to the Sharia principles. The second one, provide a comprehensive legal framework. The third one, promoting financial stability and protect the rights. Fourth, to allocate more power to BNM, which is Bank Negara Malaysia. And the last one is users contract-based regulatory framework. So next. So this is the several main provision for Takaful Act 1984. So the first one is direction and control of defaulting Takaful operator, which means that early warning system is provided for a Takaful operator which is complying with minimum solvency margin but having adverse business result. The second one, matters relating to policies and other general provision, which is regulation provide for the expenditures payment of policy money under a family Takaful or personal accident certificate. And the last one is insurance guarantee scheme fund. Bank Negara Malaysia empowered to establish and maintain a separate Takaful guarantee scheme fund for general Takaful business and also family Takaful business in respect of Malaysian policies. So that's all.
Rafi? Rafiq, you are mute.
Oh, sorry. Okay, for conclusion, what I have learned from this assignment are teamwork and responsibility about these tasks that have been given to us. And also we held a meeting to take some idea from our group members so that we can finish this task successfully. From this task, also we can know more about Takaful industry in Malaysia, which is history of Takaful, uh, regulatory of Takaful, and so on. Also, people life, livelihood, and property are always risky because any kind of uncertain event can happen anytime, which can cause unexpected loss. The process of insurance has been evolved to safeguard the interests of people from uncertainty by providing certainty payment at given contingency. It also provides indemnification against losses arising from the happening of some uncertain event. Okay, I think that's all from us. Anything?